This life-threatening disease that impacts over 33 million Americans. When your immune system sees certain food proteins as a threat, every bite matters. But here's the good news. There have been advancements in the treatment of food allergies, and with one voice, we can create better awareness. Because in the FAIR community, the disease doesn't own us. We own our journey. Talk to an allergist to understand your options. Visit foodallergy.org/empower to learn more.
The road to Adelup is here, and this time we spoke with Democrat candidates, Senator Torius Terlahi and Senator Sabina Perez. Here is your opportunity to hear how they plan to govern Guam. Watch the conversation on Wave 105's YouTube channel, dated May 28th. This is a Glimpses of Guam radio station.
Left homeless. Meanwhile, the AP News Inquirer reports that deportees from the
This is BrightSide. We are KGUM, FM, Dededo, Guam, 4:07 in the afternoon. Let's send it back to the host of the show, Mr. Pauly Suba. Buenas.
For sure. I want to thank our sponsors, Chili's Grill and Bar. At Chili's, more life, great food, and memories happen here. Micropack, bringing Guam the brands you trust and the service you deserve since 1968. Subway, you got to refresh to be fresh. Triple J, get that free $500 gas card when you drive home with a new Ford truck. And GTA, we start with you. And so, like I said, beyond the ballot, and this time we have two new candidates. Captain Ken Cruz is with us, and Mateo Mortera. And so we'll start with Mateo, because this is my first time talking with Mateo. Mateo, if you can just share with our audience a little bit about yourself and the reasons, your passions as to why you decided to run for the 39th Guam legislature.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Pauly. Thank you, Ryan, for having us on the show. Thank you for the listeners for tuning in, giving us some of your time to hear our ideas. My name is Mateo Mortera. I'm number 6 on the Republican side of the ballot. I think the biggest thing, I couldn't say that it was any one thing or one moment that made me want to run. It was a compilation of just watching the issues that have faced our island. A couple of the things that really got under my skin is the fact that when my wife goes to the mall or when she goes to Kmart at night and she's going to go pick something up, I'm not saying, hey, have fun, let me know if you need me to send you a list. I'm walking her through protocols. I'm saying, baby, make sure you park underneath a light post. Make sure you're close to the door. Make sure that you're keeping your head on a swivel. This island isn't the island I grew up on. It's not safe. And it's not just my wife. I know a lot of people here on Guam can feel that difference in the safety in their own homes. Can't sleep well at night, you know. And I think another big thing that really pushed me over the edge, and I said, I've got to do something if I want to see that change, is when I got married a year and a half ago, I had about 10 groomsmen on my side. 3 of them are left on island. The rest of them took themselves, their families. They planted their roots out there. Those kids that are my god kids, they're going to be raised out there. And they love this island. They speak Chamorro, you know. And hearing something like, one of my friends that has a child with special needs, she said, man, if I come back to Guam, as much as I love my island, I'd be doing a disservice to my kid. Because everything that they have out there, everything, the accessibility, the quality of care for somebody with severe autism, I mean, it would be a disservice to bring him back here. That's heartbreaking to hear. And so I come from the private sector, right? As an accounts manager, I have a background in sales. And, thinking systematically, solving problems has always been part of the job description. And I looked at our government and I said, I got to bring that there.
Well, I appreciate a lot of your sentiments are a lot of what people that I've come across saying the same things, right? I also have some family members off island that are saying the exact, like, the reasons why we left is not even just for better opportunities, but better health care, better service, public services are available to us.
Right.
And so, what are some of the ideas though that you'd like to implement either through policy or through empowering some of these agencies so that we do have better services?
Well, when we take a look at everything that's been going on, I ultimately think that engaging the experts is something we shouldn't shy away from. This is not an ego thing. I don't need credit. We need to engage the experts in the field. We need to tap into ideas that are out there. I mean, we can't just read something and say, "Hey, that sounds great." If applied to here, we actually have to dive into it with somebody who knows this in and out and say, "How do we apply this to our island? How can we bring something like this to a place like this with the population that we have?"
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I appreciate you being here. And so I also wanted to thank Captain Kin. Thanks for hanging out again. And can you just remind our audience a little bit more about your passions, your convictions, and why you are running for the 39th Guam Legislature?
Definitely, Pauly. Thanks for having me once again. Hafaday, Todos Hamzu. I'm really interested in circling back to where we were talking to him earlier because I would love to know his background.
Yeah.
But I didn't know where you were coming from, and I was hoping you'd dive in a little more there, Pauly. But let me get the introduction. I'm Captain Kin. I run Shut Up and Fish Guam. It's a small local business. I'm here today, I think, for the third time talking to Pauly about my plans for the future and what it is that I think I can do to make the change that we want to see in this world. I'd like to thank 105.1, the Wave FM, for consistently being active with the new candidates, especially so that the people can hear what we have to say. And we can get our introductions out there so people can know who they're voting for, who to vote for, right? That's the most important thing, I think, this election is knowing who to vote for. There's a lot of people along the way that I've spoken to that are a little bit timid or kind of hesitant to even register to vote because they feel like they don't have any good, Guam doesn't have any good options for them. They're so used to the status quo in our current legislature, which we all know, not to put anyone down, but it's barely getting things done. So I think it's great that there are new and younger candidates like myself and Mateo here who are stepping up to try and, change the guard, so to speak, right?
Sure.
And give a new perspective to the way of life here on Guam.
Right.
And just a little bit about what he spoke about. You already know this interviewing me before, but I am a living testament to the fact of having to leave Guam and relocate my family for better health care for years. And that sucked because my business and my mom, my father passed away, a decade ago, but my mom was still here and is still here. And being away from her was one of the hardest things because, she's elderly and sickly, and having to go to take care of myself off island, I was kind of torn between, should I even go or should I just stay and ride it out?
Right.
But for the sake of my children, I have to go and get the best health care that I can to make sure that I'll be around for them for a lot more time, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Understood. And so when we look at you make it into the legislature, the 39th, right? And let's say you Republicans get the majority. And so is that what kind of conversation comes up with the Republican Party as to where Mateo will have some oversight over certain committees?
Well, I think when it comes to that time, with the Republican majority, I think the current legislature, we're getting some good momentum, right? You see the rollback of the BPT. You see that they have made some of the processes a little bit more efficient so that we can get some work done. And as my platform focuses on the crystal meth epidemic.
Okay.
We currently have an oversight chair that's in the public safety. Now, if he still wants to pursue that, I would be happy to support with my ideas, in other things. I have, some ideas on the education side because I'm building bridges for the next generation. It's not just a slogan, man. It's important to me because we're going to be left holding the bag of whatever island we hand down to them. So, I think a huge component of that, if the public safety chair is, of course, claimed, let's go into education.
Okay.
And that's a really good way to arm our future leaders with what they need to actually see some, upward mobility when they grow up.
Understood. So not committee on rules, because there's vacancy, right? I mean, if Vice Speaker Tony Atta is not there anymore, that's open,
That's
right?
the opening. That's the opening.
Well, I don't know if we've necessarily sat down with each other and actually had a conversation of like, kind of
Heck yeah.
seeing who's
You
going to
gotta
slot
say
where.
it out loud; it'll
Yeah.
come true, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You got to manifest.
You got to
it, Pauly.
manifest
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
right? And so, same question: Democrats take the majority, or maybe not. Maybe there's this synergy in the 39th that whoever has the majority just says, which I don't think will happen. But let's just say the question comes up: where does Ken Cruz want to have oversight over? What committees would you like?
Well, Captain Kin is who we'd like to be referred to as properly because that's what's going to be on the ballot.
Okay.
Just to knock that out.
Okay.
You just had Sean Gamatauta on your show. I watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Fred Berdalio.
Yeah.
And Sean is the committee head on public safety. So
Yeah.
that's a great question. As far as me and Democrats go, I have nothing set in stone with anyone. I'm not a party person. I'm a people person, Pauly.
Okay.
So I might be running as a Democrat, but I'm really running for the people of Guam.
Okay.
So whatever position is open that I see fit that I can make a change in, I'm all for that. Okay. But from my background, of course, obviously tourism will be a big thing. We all know GVB. I love how the senators are calling it out now just because it's time for re-election. But at least they're calling it out. But
You've been calling it out for
I've
a
been
while.
calling it out for years because I've been seeing it and witnessing it with my business and seeing the decline in tourism and then the lack of support for the local businesses from GVB to boost the tourism economy, right? So I'm glad they're calling it out right now. And that's something I would love to be involved in. That's a committee that I think that's a board that people say I should have been in for so long already in that GVB board. I have no idea why they have random, no offense to anyone. Everyone knows I just speak my mind. But really, the funds are being misused. The time is being wasted. Everything's being blamed on each other. This is hilarious.
Okay, so with funds being wasted, are you talking about marketing? Should we put some of that money on destination management? Where should we put the money?
All of the above, because the marketing aspect of it, to me, they're targeting the wrong market. First and foremost. Second, I'm running Democrat, but I love what Chris Duenas and Tony Atta were saying about the trips, okay? Seriously, $200,000 on trips to DC. Again, we had that, it's not a scandal, but we had that situation with the $30,000 trip to Las Vegas to recruit people to come to Guam. I mean, Las Vegas is not our target audience to come to Guam. People from Guam leave Guam to go to Las Vegas. That's where I lived for 2 years to get medical treatment. I mean, you're not going there trying to think you're going to pull in people to come and be tourists and boost our economy in Guam, going to Las Vegas, staying at $1,000 a night hotels. I think the money's being totally spent the wrong way, and the marketing is targeting the wrong market, Like, they've taken... Because I'm part of the GVB membership, so my business gets sent emails when, like, a pop star from Korea comes in and they offer us to take them out on the boat, okay? Just for them to do a 15-second reel on Instagram that might get a couple 100,000 views. We're getting that organically already as a local business, and GVB's, they're not seeing or noticing that. But that money could be spent towards other stuff that will entice people to come to Guam. What we're seeing now in our day and age, especially with younger kids, like middle to high school, they're loving concerts, Pauly. I don't know if you've noticed, but Guam has been in a concert frenzy, a concert frenzy like crazy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now just think, GVB, right, can easily get even a K-pop star, because they're trying to tap that market, to come to Guam and have a concert for less than they're spending going to all these random meetings to try and entice people with pamphlets to come visit our island.
Yeah,
it would
fair
be
enough.
easy to bring one of those, any kind of band or something that people are into these days, and so many people from Guam that I know you guys know people, or you might have done it yourself, go to Philippines, right?
Yeah.
When Justin Bieber or someone, or my wife, always wants to do that, when he's in Philippines, because it's so close for us to reach in Guam. So now if Guam had concerts for people to reach from Asia, we would get that, and then our hotels would be full. our local businesses, our restaurants will be thriving. Our ocean adventures, I think, would be thriving a lot more too, because there'd be more visitors coming that want to experience our ocean, which is the highlight of our island. Our culture, our food, our ocean is one of the biggest highlights of this island, and GVB needs to showcase that more.
Understood.
What
What are your thoughts
we got
on
off track there,
tourism?
dude.
Yeah, well, it's not. I like what he's talking about, and I've had a lot of just frustration on that front. I mean, I come from an entertainment background too, right? And so I don't see why we're not the stopping point for some of these. I mean, I have friends that have gone off to island to watch the When We Were Young concert. That's a whole bunch of pop punk bands from the 90s, from the 2000s, and these guys are doing huge lineups. And so if these guys are on their way to Asia, this is the last stop in America. And if you didn't get your tickets in the Philippines, or they sold out, or you didn't get your tickets in Australia, they sold out, or Japan, well, we're right here. We've got some availability, and you can watch that concert in paradise. It's a little bit different. I love the idea, but we are looking at, and if I'm representing it right, I hope I am, we're marketing the wrong direction. We need to look the other way. Look at just how much of an influx of business came in when we ran the promo for the Liberation last time. We brought a lot of locals to come back. And I think John Savares was talking about this the last time when you were interviewing him. And not only do we have a lot of locals, we have a lot of people that are stationed, or that have been stationed here in the military, that have gone for another duty station out in the mainland, and they want to come here. But
return,
dude,
yes.
It's expensive. And so I have a lot of friends that would die if the ticket was reasonable. They would die to come out here. They have a second family here. We treated them like family, and they would love to come back. So we keep focusing in this direction. I don't think we need to stop, but I think we need to expand and figure out how to make it affordable for those guys to come here.
Understood.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about infrastructure. Is that something that you're also concerned about? Maybe like roads, roadways, safety of our roadways.
You have to be concerned.
Public health centers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have
chuckling 'cause-
only the 2. When I was a kid, we had the 3, right? And so I don't think that there's an appetite, or there's a bill out there that would actually, it is now law, but it's crawling. I don't know when we're going to get starting up that construction, the partnership between public health and GCC. Right, for the central clinic that has been vacant for years now. And so I'm on that topic. What are your thoughts on infrastructure wise? Where do you see yourself at in assisting?
Well, oh my goodness, the way we do one thing is how we're going to do everything.
Okay.
So when we want to talk about these big projects, we got to look at the fact that we haven't been able to replace the traffic light coming out of back road going into Manilao. And if you're new to this island, you don't know that arrow or that light that goes green for you to go straight also means you can go left.
Right.
You're stuck confused. The lines on the road, locals can't even see that in the rain.
Yeah.
So there are simple things that we haven't shored up the process on. We haven't done a good job at preventative maintenance. And so as we're thinking about the bigger things that we want to accomplish, man, we got to tighten up the nuts and bolts on that process. Now, I come from, and it's not necessarily in the public works domain, but I come from facilities management. I worked with a company called Guam Service Pros, and that was a little bit of everything.
Is that Mike's company?
Mike's company.
Okay.
So I was Mike's sales guy, and part of it was not just securing contracts so that we can get commercial cleaning in there. Some of the operations I would do would be actually doing facilities management for bigger buildings, and so my eye for preventative maintenance grew there. When you see water intrusion before the concrete's even spalling, the paint will tell you what you need to do. And in a private business, you're not allowed to let that slip. Otherwise, the bill's going to be much bigger. That's going to be the same thing for the people of Guam. It's our taxpayer money, and we delay until it's screamingly on fire.
Until it's too late, and then it becomes harder to deal with.
Correct. It's more expensive to deal with.
Yeah, I think even when we talk about our schools, the former superintendent, Eric Swanson, I mean, he was a new face that came in, and he saw the way our schools were, and he's saying we've been neglecting these for decades. And we can't just fix them all at once, right? And so unfortunately we can't even fix one Simon Sanchez High School, right? And so,
Shout out to the Sharks. Hey, we're going to get that school built. Believe it, believe it, believe it. We will achieve it, okay?
Yeah.
Because we talked about this last time. I don't know if it was on this show or the other show, but I got nephews that go there, and I'm like, what are you doing up at this time, boy? You know, I'm up at that time because I'm going fishing. And he's like, Uncle Ken, I got to go to school. I'm like, it's dark. How are you going to go to school in the dark, you know? And he's like, this is just the time. So I'm always wondering, like, why we're even allowing this to happen, because when they're ready to be adults, okay, in the private or government sector, right, they're going to step into a job where it's going to be 9 to 5. So that's your time to wake up would be about 7, you know, eat breakfast, get your kids ready if you got kids, and do your thing, then get to work. These kids, why are freshmen in high school waking up at 4 a.m. to go to school in the dark? What's going on, Pauly? That's bad. That's horrible.
Their circadian rhythm.
And that crosswalk at Kmart, when, you know, one morning I had to go there early, and, dude, it's dark, and they're crossing the street. That's such a public safety issue. You know, I mean, it frustrates me thinking about it. I don't have a kid that goes there, but I feel for them, and it's like...
The new superintendent has addressed it, right? So putting Simon Sanchez over at Teason High. And in essence, it's not double session, but it kind of is, because you still have 2 schools in one facility with 2 separate bell schedules.
Exactly.
So
it still is.
It's
still
still a form. They're just not calling it double session. But basically, they just brought the hours closer, and now they're in the same school almost at the same time. But from my understanding, there still are 2 separate bell schedules, because one will get there before the other. Yeah.
And do you know, like Captain Kidd said, we're going to get there, right? The process is already in place. You know, we have to respect the protest that's going on, but we're on our way there. In the meantime, this double session stuff's not going to work. Like he was saying, these kids are waking up at, I mean, hours that are unreal for somebody like that.
Unsafe hours.
4
in the mornings when people are coming home from the club. Right. You know what I mean? Like
exactly. And their internal clocks are going to be rewired for that, or they're going to be wired that way when they step in when they step into work. So we've got to just get these guys in their own facility. It's not going to be popular. I think I might lose any
you got to say it like
yeah,
it is,
absolutely.
You got
But
to say it like it is.
I see a really good facility right there in DOE Central. So in the meantime, while these Simon Sanchez kids don't have a facility of their own, let's put them in there, and let's take the employees in DOE Central, and hey, we're shutting down some schools. You can work out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they should shut down the schools, though, to be honest. I was asked about that.
Yeah.
And, like, taking away education in communities it's not good. And the reason why schools have districts are because that's what's easy for them to access. A lot of them don't have rides to school, so they walk or take the bus within that district.
That's the reality of Tamuning middle schoolers. They go to Jose Rios.
Yeah.
There's no walking.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
what a joy it is just to wake up in the morning and be able to walk your child to school in elementary.
And know they're safe. Right
obviously,
there.
middle schoolers don't think it's cool for you to walk them to school, but you can walk them halfway.
Yep.
I remember this part of my childhood. My parents, my mom or my dad, it didn't matter, one or the other.
Yep.
We were walking to school, and then I walked my kids to school in the States, and that was fun to do.
That's what I did in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And it was great. You know, being able to do that and like in a safe, clean environment, and we're gonna get Guam there, guys. Eventually,
that's the plan.
We can get Guam there. I mean, let's hope the people of Guam are smart this coming election, and let's just try for something new. Give young guns a shot at making a change, and you know, if we don't, then criticize us. But right now, it's too soon for them to be attacking anyone on our end, you know, Republican or Democrat. I think that really...
Somebody's already attacking?
Oh, Pauly, if they ain't hating, you ain't doing it right. And we got haters every single day,
really?
brother. Yeah. Yes.
All right. Well, we'll take the break, and then on the other side, there's a couple other things that you brought up, safe streets and safe communities, so I definitely want to touch more on public safety. So we'll do that on the other side of these right here on Wave 105.
4:30 in the afternoon. We're going to take a look at traffic. Proudly being brought to you by Guam Auto Spot. He's going to help you move forward on your daily commute. Mr. Pauly Suba, buenas.
Let me check out the roadways for you. Looking at my handy-dandy glimpses of Guam traffic app here. Again, it's brought to you by Guam Auto Spot. Call them up, 478-AUTO. You can also check out their inventory at guamautospot.com. And yeah, things are definitely picking up because it's like it's basically a Friday, right? I mean, we got the 3-day weekend, but people are out and as you should prepare for this storm that is heading in our direction. It's best to over prepare than for us to be caught by surprise. So take the time. Everybody just continue to be safe and look out for each other as you are preparing for this storm and getting everything that you need to be safe. Once again, helping you move forward on this Thursday afternoon is Guam Auto Spot.
We are all for first-time guests and longtime friends. All for First Light and Starlight. For road trips and trail runs. All for mountaintops and monuments. River bends and battlefields. We're all for showing up and giving back. To protect, to preserve, to pass it on. All parks depend on us, and we're all for parks. Join us at nationalparks.org/allforparks.
A message from Joshua Jackson, actor and Fair Volunteer Ambassador.
Food allergy is a serious, life-threatening disease that impacts over 33 million Americans. When your immune system sees certain food proteins as a threat, every bite matters. But here's the good news. There have been advancements in the treatment of food allergies, and with one voice, we can create better awareness. Because in the FAIR community, the disease doesn't own us. We own our journey. Talk to an allergist to understand your options. Visit foodallergy.org/empower to learn more.
Hi, human. I'm a micro monster, swimming around in your plastic water bottle. But I can't wait to swim in your bloodstream soon.
Microplastics are micro monsters.
Drink me. Wait, what are you doing?
But you can fight back by using glass or metal reusable water bottles.
No!
Don't let microplastic micro monsters invade your body. Find more ways to fight back at stopmicromonsters.org.
Every 16 seconds, an American receives a cancer diagnosis, and every minute of every day, another person loses their life to cancer. That's why Stand Up to Cancer has set a bold goal to make early stage detection an essential part of standard of care for all cancers. So often, if cancer is detected early, the chance of long-term survival is 90%. So if we all support cancer research, more than 2 million lives can be saved in the next decade. So join the mission and help save lives today at standuptocancer.org.
The road to Adelup is in full swing. We recently spoke with Democrat candidates Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio and Senator Tina Munilla Barnes to learn more about their vision for Guam. Catch the full conversation that took place on May 26th on the Wave 105's YouTube channel. This is a glimpses of Guam radio station.
Four 34 in the afternoon. Welcome back to the show. Here's the number. The phone lines are wide open. 671-922-1051 or 2. This is the BrightSide right here on Wave 105. Standing by the host, Mr. Pauly Suba.
All right, welcome back. Viva Webis!
Viva!
Beyond the ballot with our friends Mateo Mortera and Captain King Cruz. And so Captain King says, where are the phone calls? So 671-922-1051. 1051. Feel
Actually,
free to
we
call
did
us.
get a phone call.
Yeah?
We just wanted to know who they were.
Okay.
And I told him Captain Kin, also Mateo, and they're both running on the Democrat and Republican side. So Yeah, the phone lines are wide open. Give us a call.
There you go.
They want to talk to you.
Yes,
We'll just we'll transition over. There you go. And so again, let's talk about public safety. You talked about how, I mean, that's something that I grew up probably because I'm a son of a police officer, right? Situational awareness. But you should be. I mean, you should be able to walk to the store and not be harassed. You should be able to go wherever you want and not be violated or be a victim of a crime, right? And unfortunately, that is not the reality in all communities. But what can we do to just make our community safer? And so maybe there's a specific policy that you're thinking about.
Yeah, there's a program. If you take a look at other states that have seen the spread rate of illicit drugs impacting their community, one of the things that they're able to arm themselves with is a designation, high intensity drug trafficking area.
Yeah.
And so that gives us support, not only for our local law enforcement, but we also get some support from FBI, DEA. We get intelligence from them, and they're all zeroed in on ensuring that we could stem this and we can really slow it down. But you know, we could talk about a whole bunch of approaches to this drug epidemic. I don't even see why we haven't declared a state of emergency on this. You know, it's 80% of the violent crimes and the property theft that we're seeing here on island is attributed to crystal meth. But we can't just say, all right, let's go lock them up. And, you know, I mean, how many people can you arrest before you run out of space in the prison? We need to kill the demand for this thing.
While he's on that subject, I'd like to add that I'd like to speak about that also when he's done. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's just because right when he said the word prison, it's something very important that we need to speak about. Okay, go ahead and finish up, though.
No, absolutely. Thank you. But we need to find out why we're lacking so much in opportunities, because the guys that grow up, and you know, it could be the users, but also the guys that are distributing it. You know what that was for them? It was an opportunity. They saw the money. They didn't see that they fit into any of the cookie cutter kind of jobs that are offered, and they said that's great money, and so they went into it. But that demand side, if we invest in our children and we invest in programs that are actually going to give them a little bit more broad stroke of opportunities, we're more connected than we've ever been to the rest of the world. There are advances in technology, and if we're not putting this in our school systems now, our kids are going to fall behind. They don't have to leave if they see upward mobility here, right? Especially in the technology space. When they'd rather read or when they'd rather pick up a book versus a meth pipe, we're taking a step in the right direction. So, yeah, a lot of what we're seeing on the streets, it could be really addressed with those two things. And also, the rehab. We need to do a better job at rehab. But I know you wanted to speak on this as well.
Yeah, and so you wanted to touch on the overcrowding?
There's 3 different points. We'll start with the war on ICE has never ended since your dad's time in the force. And like he said, I don't know why we're not at a state of emergency for war on ICE. I mean, for the ICE epidemic. But I do believe that should come out again. I think that GPD should launch that war on ICE campaign again, because I remember that in high school. That was a big thing. Yeah. People were scared. It was actually scaring people, like, hey, watch out, they're really looking for you now. You know, so like, you got to get it back to the times where people are afraid to be users. Now, read the news. People are getting pulled over admitting, yeah, I just smoked a couple hours ago, or yeah, I have this much ice and a pipe in my car, and like openly, like it's okay. Like they're not afraid to mention it because maybe they're just gonna get a one night stay in a Ghana lockup with some food and some aircon. I don't know what it is, but they're not fearing the system. That's for sure. We can see that. People are not fearing the system, and that's a big problem. Like, you have to be afraid to get caught with drugs on Guam. That needs to be a thing. Some people might not want to hear this, but I loved when the president of the Philippines was chopping off heads when you were found with drugs. I mean, that, we don't need to get to that, but what I'm saying is, when you're flying to the Philippines, you were told, hey, don't get caught doing drugs because they're serious about it over there, you know? And that's something I think Guam is lacking, right? Like, I don't believe people think they're going to get in so much trouble for doing drugs on Guam. It's almost not become a norm, but it's almost like accepted in the community,
Should we
which
raise
is
some
bad.
of the fines as well?
Well, fines is one thing, but enforcement, like actual enforcement,
Okay.
that makes them like, I wish I didn't do that kind of deal. That's what we really need. Because fines, they'll just keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. But like actual lockup and real enforcement is a big issue. And I don't want to get political on everyone. I know there's...
It's okay. You're running for
I'm running for
elected
office, okay.
right?
But everyone has this kind of way towards our current AG, okay? And I'm going to give my personal opinion.
Go for it.
I personally think he does have, like, unorthodox... you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry.
Like, the way he execute things, but he is getting stuff done, and he is freaking out people, okay? And what's happening that I've seen and I've done homework on is there's just... He's prosecuting enough people, but there's not enough space in our correctional facility to house the people. That's why there's so much. There's a bug in here, Pauly, and it's getting me. Anyway, there's not enough
Don't
space
worry, we'll
to
call
house
the exterminator today
to house all
Better
the
get rid of
criminals
this.
that are being arrested.
Yeah.
So that's where this catch and release policy comes in, and people are blaming the police officers, and I think they're wrong for doing that because it's not their fault. They're doing their job and arresting these people, but
Absolutely.
we cannot house them. We cannot control them. We cannot. Our correctional facility. If you've seen the YouTube clips or when KUM did a walkthrough with it with the governor,
Right.
I mean, talk about inhumane, Pauly.
Right.
And I feel bad for the DOC guards
Right.
who have to put up with that. That's like a 12-to-1 ratio over there, which is mad respect to those DOC guards.
Right.
They're putting themselves in the hot seat all day and all night long, and it's not the law enforcement's fault that these criminals are just being arrested overnight and let go the next. Okay, that's what I truly believe. We really need a new hospital on Guam, but we also need a new correctional facility.
Understood. We have somebody on the line. Kaduku is a regular. So, Kaduku, you're on the air with Mateo and Captain Kin. So, you have a question?
Yeah, I do.
Go for it.
In the Philippines, they said drug dealers or smugglers will be hung.
Yes.
But anyway, remember the one they found at ITC?
No.
No.
In the conference room?
Oh, yeah.
at the,
AG's office.
That one.
Yep.
Yes, okay. At the AG's office.
And that's why maybe, because maybe some of it belongs to people on the top. I hate to say it, man, but maybe that's why it's allowed to, because, and they're not afraid. Maybe some of it belongs to some of the system. It's just something, in my opinion, but you ever thought about that?
It has crossed my mind many times.
Maybe, maybe, a lot of stuff going on this island that needs to be fixed.
Yes.
Hey, thank you, man.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
So
Thank you.
let's bring that up. What about keeping agencies accountable, government corruption and whatnot? So what are your thoughts on looking into that possibly?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, addressing the supply and killing the demand is going to be a really, really good step in that direction, because if this thing is way too expensive to get your hands on, basta, doesn't
Right.
matter who you are.
Right. And then also just keeping government agencies accountable would not
Mandatory drug tests.
being more strict against fraud and waste. You know, when we not necessarily even the drug part, right? Kaduku brought it up, but I'm even thinking more so on just a lot of waste could be happening in the government. There could be fraud happening. There could be the pari system. And so is that something that you're concerned about?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, I have an approach where, you know, even in the private sector, you need to do some stringent reporting, especially if you have a lot of responsibility, and that keeps you accountable. So if you hold that position, if the job itself demands, a part of what you need to do demands that you are held accountable, and you know you have other people taking a look at you, performance metrics. I don't care if that's your wife, I don't care if that's your sister, your brother. That person's going to have to do their job well.
No one is above the law. That's the point that needs to be made.
Right.
Yeah, but you're going to have to do your job well. Doesn't matter who you are. So
Yeah, for sure. If you have oversight over these agencies, right, and then it depends. It might just be a philosophy, depending on the makeup of the Republican Party or Democrat Party, whoever has the majority. Because I've been paying attention to some of the legislatures and who has the speakership and how they want to go about running these public hearings or oversight hearings or roundtables. And so is that something that you have noticed? Is that something that you would like to also partake in? Is that maybe your philosophy on, we need to put these agencies into the public eye more and more, and let's figure out how to make sure that they are staying honest?
Oh, absolutely. It's
Yeah?
the people's money.
Okay.
Right. And so, this I haven't sat in the chair before, right? So best practices I do leave to the veterans who will be coming back.
Right.
But I want to enhance whatever operations go on with a fresh perspective.
Right.
What if I know we've done it this way all the time? What if we try this? Like I said, this Republican majority in the 38th has done a really good job at respecting everybody's time. Some people don't like the fact that there's sometimes a time limit. I think if you can't say it in less than 5 seconds or make a really good case in not 5 seconds, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You might just be rambling at that point, right?
Move on.
But respect everybody's time,
Yeah, and so you get into the 39th, you're going to see yourself on the session floor, debating budgets or debating a certain bill. And so what are your thoughts in, working with your colleagues, whether, like you said, it doesn't matter, Democrat, Republican, I work for the people. And so you get there and you see the way the operation works, right? How are you going to put yourself into the whole mix as Captain
All right.
Kin?
Let's go.
Yeah.
I want this question. Okay, so I don't know about you on your run, but on my run, I've been in contact and been meeting a lot of sitting senators now, okay, from both sides, just because I interest them, is what they say, right? They set up meetings with me. They want to know who I am, what I'm about, who is this guy, and why is he trying to do what he's doing? What I've got from all of them is that everything we think, the people of Guam, I'm speaking to you, everything we think as the people that's going on in that legislature is actually going on in that legislature. It's a circus, from what they all tell me. It's adults bickering at each other, not getting along, they're just wasting the people's time and money, to be honest, doing stuff like that. But what I look forward to, if given the opportunity to get in, is seeing how that really is played out, because I'm not a person to be played with and go back and forth like that, because the way I hear them talking about it, it's almost like it's fun for them, right? And I don't think it's fun. I think that we need to go in and figure out real solutions to the problems we're having, instead of having a majority holding it back, because you guys don't want to get into this, but like the whole hospital thing, right? Like It's because the Republicans hold the majority, so they got the call. So the governor has to go and strong arm and get it done on her own, even though the senators don't want it, right? It's like a whole thing, and it's a power trip, right? That's the way I see it. But I think that everyone needs to be re-humbled and understand that their seats are positions of public servants, okay? Nothing more, nothing less. So you guys got to really realize that, all the senators that are listening to me right now who've told me the stories about you guys just bickering all night long and not getting along and all this kind of stuff. Like, hey, screw everything else. You have to make a decision, and the best decision for the people. Period. Pauly, period.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
No, I appreciate I appreciate your perspective on a lot of these things, and I think when we see new faces like yourselves, right, we don't necessarily get the opportunity. I think for both of you, you don't necessarily get the same opportunities as those that are already elected.
I'm raising my hand. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're in school. I need to have this because you asked me earlier about talking to Democrats and what they think or what I'm supposed to expect if I get in, right? what I have heard many times, and in all the meetings they say this, is that they say it in your meetings too, is we need the majority, right? We need the majority. Captain Kin, you got to help us get the Democratic majority back, right? Because that's the only way your voice will be heard.
Okay.
They're saying that if I made it into office with a Republican majority, that my voice won't be heard. That I'm going to be a rookie senator coming and they're going to push me onto the side and I'm not going to get to voice myself. But I'm letting you all know, once again, you can't silence me. If the people put me in that position to stand up for them, then that's what I'll do, regardless of majority or minority or whatever it is. Oh, we got a caller on the line.
Yeah.
Let's get it real quick. Sorry.
Hafaday, Frank, you're on the air. Frank, you're on the air. You're Hafaday, you're on the air with two new candidates
Hafaday,
for the
Frank.
39th Guam legislature.
Hey.
Mateo
Yes,
and Captain Kin. Go for it.
Okay. You know, I just like to comment. I want people that aren't going to be puppets of the governor.
Hongan.
Okay? You guys running as Democrat or whatever. Don't just
Mateo is Republican.
Yeah, to everything that the governor wants. Because that's what the problem was, man.
Hongan.
It's everybody, they're not keeping the interest of the people. We paid $2 million to a consultant to tell us where the best place to put the hospital would be. I don't know if you guys know that. And they said, the money.
Hongan.
We spent $2 million to tell a consultant telling us to put it into money, and then we put it in Manila. What a waste of money.
Hongan, you're absolutely right.
You know, things like that, that's the one that makes me mad when we're just wasting money.
Frank, I can feel the energy and I can relate. You're absolutely right.
You know, I don't care if you're
right.
a Republican or a Democrat. You know, you think on your own. Don't just agree with everything that party says.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Because you're not serving the people when you do that. You know?
Frank, you're absolutely
you fight
right.
for what's right.
That's
and when
right.
we spend $2 million and waste money and go against what the consultant told us, the expert.
Lastama. Yep, Lastama. They waste
know?
that money for nothing.
Money for nothing, but the experts, they hired people, consultants. These are smart people. And they said, build it into money. We would have saved a lot of money. We don't got money to throw away, to burn. And by building that hospital in Manila, wherever it's going to be built, if it's going to be built in Manila, so be it. But I'll tell you this right now. We're spending way more money that we don't have. Think about that.
Plus $2 million.
Plus the $2 million.
Yeah.
Don't be a puppet. Okay,
Thanks,
you.
Frank. And
That's
so
not Frank.
I wanted to give you
Thank you,
the
Frank.
opportunity to respond.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the point of the legislature. That's the point of checks and balances. You can't be a puppet. You're supposed to put each other in check. And as a body of 15, you're representing a whole bunch of constituents and a whole bunch of different, people come from different backgrounds. So I would hope that there's no puppetry going on and into the legislature from the executive branch.
Even within the
that's the
majority
function.
of your own party?
Even with the majority, meaning
within your own party.
the Republicans
If
are the
you had the
majority.
majority, I think he's also stating not just the governor, right? But just don't be a puppet to
As a Republican, I know why I'm a Republican.
Okay.
I believe in small government. I believe in fiscal responsibility. That's what makes me a Republican. Now, I grew up in the Republican Party, but I'm my own man.
Okay.
And honestly, if you knew my dad, if you knew me, you can't tell
Right.
me what to do. If I'm convicted in my beliefs and my moral compass points me this way, and I'm led by God, I have to answer to God at the end of the day, at the end of my life.
Right.
That's where I'm going. So
Understood.
you can't tell me what to do if I'm being very direct.
Yeah.
I'm my own man,
Understood.
and I'm representing my people, and I'm gonna do what's right by them.
Understood.
Yeah.
And Captain King, I think you already said
do
those
not
words,
even need
right?
to ask me. Me and
Yeah.
Frank are on the same team. Matter of fact, Frank's right here behind me. I felt Frank. I felt that phone call. That he's very concerned, very passionate, and he is very right about everything he was saying. Hey, I might get in trouble for what I'm saying as a Democrat sitting here talking about it, but it's the truth. I think the hospital should be built in Tamuning, where it is more accessible to the doctors that are saying it'll be faster for them to get to the people.
Correct.
To take care of them. I mean, that's just my person as my own man, as a God-fearing man and no one else, is opinion. And Frank, that call was absolutely necessary. Thank you so much. Like I said, I felt your energy, and you are absolutely right.
Well, I want to give you the time to just close. If there's anything
We're
that
closing already.
Time flies by.
Look at that.
This
Time
is his
flies
first.
by.
We got to keep going.
Well,
Can we buy extra time?
So here's
How much you got? Can we buy extra time?
Well, take your time, but you feel free to take your time. I think you're getting a phone call. I think we'll just get it in, right? If this is for them, let's go. All right, Hafide, you're on the air with Mateo Mortera and Captain Kin, and Captain Kin's fired up, so he wants these questions.
Bring it on, corazon. Let's go.
Let's go. Hafide, Way 105, you're on the air.
Oh, hi. Yeah, we always get a lot of candidates that run for office, and when we hear them speak, a lot of what they pull from is this, this emotional, I guess, content ethos, so to speak, right?
Sure.
And, I'm just curious, like, what actual experiences do they have in understanding, government policy, public administration, and do they actually have any solutions? Earlier I heard them talking about kids going to school really early. And I'm wondering if they knew which school that was, that was
That's John F. Kennedy.
Yeah,
That's
and
what we're talking about.
they actually have actual solutions. I realize the legislative branch, their job is to pass laws. But
Mateo just mentioned the
some of
solution.
the issues that plague education, they run deep. And do they actually think they have any real solutions, concrete? Because I haven't heard anything really concrete, and I'm hoping to hear something concrete that would let me know that, okay, I should vote for these guys. These guys sound competent.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
Thank you. All right.
Okay.
So,
how do you want to approach this? Because this is kind of a...
No, so we'll give you the opportunity to respond on. I think he wants more clear solutions, right? And rather than maybe, and I've heard some of what you had shared, right? I've heard a number of things that you have shared, but I think if you can walk us through a bill that you think is going to provide the real solution that addresses a problem, and you can pick any one issue.
So if we're speaking on that specific problem, which he's talking about, us not knowing what school that is at that time, it's John F. Kennedy High School.
Okay.
And as Mateo said earlier, with the DOE building, right?
Right. You would retrofit the central office into a school. That is your solution, right?
It's a sound facility.
Right. Yeah.
Put our kids first.
Right.
While the campus is being built for Simon Sanchez.
And move the central office staff to one of the vacant schools.
Exactly.
That's what you said. That is a solution.
Because that space can handle the amount of students that John F. Kennedy or Sanchez has. Because like you said earlier, Pauly, if they go to Tizen, it'd be the same exact thing. They're just bringing it to a new location. Same problem, new location.
They won't, to clarify, right, they won't be waking up as early and they won't be leaving as late. However, they are in the same facility with two separate bell schedules, and they're going to try their very best.
So who can call
to
that school
manage
their home?
all of that.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not their own. Yeah.
That is the solution that this leadership has come up with, right? But again, when we are talking about some of the policies that you would like to implement, and are there any more and clear solutions?
I just want to answer him real quick before we get off subject and just explain. I don't come from a political background. You're right. I don't write policy. I'm not seasoned in the legislature or the laws all the laws may that be right. But I am willing to listen, learn, and fight for the people to the best of my ability. And if put in the right position and given the right tools and resources, I will be able to then execute solutions for the people in every aspect of what the community needs in the legislature. I kind of felt like we were both being tested on our credentials, being young and what do we think we are that'll fit this quota. But I mean, really, you don't even need a high school diploma to run for senator on Guam. That's a very interesting fact, right?
GED equivalent.
Equivalent to GED. You can
yeah,
look
high
it up
school
on
diploma
the
or equivalent.
Guam Election Commission's website.
Right.
Because when we were questioned on this before, coming up, we did our homework with it, and everyone's like, you don't have a degree in this or a degree in that, but what I have a master's degree in is helping people and solving problems. And I think that that's something more important than having a fancy bachelor's degree sitting in an office wearing a suit doing nothing for the people but bickering with your constituents back and forth while nothing is getting done. I hope that gives some ease to that caller on where I'm coming from.
Yeah, no, I think it's a fair question. What qualifications do you feel you have to be a senator? And I think 25 years old. I wish they go back to Congress and lower that down and amend the Organic Act, because I can think of a number of 18-year-olds that should be running for senator too. And I think that's also why you don't see enough 18-year-olds running, because when they see their own peer running for this office, they'll support. They love supporting their peers. Yeah, and so you're not seeing 18 to 25-year-olds because none of them are running.
Well, I think there should be a term. I really think there should be a term cap. I think that you should have maybe like a four-year term, and then you got to, like the government, like the governor and lieutenant governor, right? Like you've got a limit. You can't just sit in the legislature that long, guys. I mean, come on, give more people more opportunity for new chances at new development for our island. That's why the same things keep happening.
And I don't stand too far apart on the approach there, because if you're looking at, okay, what is your background in politics? I've got this question. What's your background in politics? How much policy have you played a part in? I'm a fresh face. My qualifications is I'm part of the people. My qualifications, by every definition of the Organic Act, have been met. I'm 25. I've been a resident here my whole life. But I'm not going to, if you want a person who has been involved with the policies that you are seeing, responsible for the Guam that you're seeing today, go ahead and vote that direction. I come from a place where I want to bring fresh perspectives. I've been a problem-solving machine in my career, and I want to bring that to the table. I listen. That's my best quality as a salesperson. I listen, and I listen intently. They ask, what are you going to do for your first 100 days? I'm not going to be a bill-writing machine. I don't call pumping out a whole bunch of bills work. I want to actually solve issues. And so my first 100 days, if I'm given the public safety avenue, I'm going to sit with our law enforcement, federal, local. I'm going to sit with the people who have worked and counseled these people who've been on drugs, who are recovering, who are reforming. I want to get their expert opinions, and then we strategize, then we write legislation that supports, and I want to see how the legislature could support all of that. I bring a raw skill set, but I haven't been in government, and I hope that's a good thing.
KGUM FM in Dededo, Guam. Okay, so we did go over, but don't feel like you got to be rushed. I do want to give you the opportunity to share anything else that we might have missed that is important for you to get out to share with our audience.
Okay, Mateo, go first, please. It's your first time on the air.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thank you for that.
I'd like you to get the most time.
No, for those of you who've tuned in just recently, my name is Mateo Mortero. I'm number 6 on the Republican side of the ballot. This is my first time on a ballot. And I just represent a generation who's going to be handed this island not too long from now, and I want to help shape this island into something we could be proud to hand down to the next generation. I humbly ask for your vote. I humbly ask for your vote of confidence, and I say give me a shot. I'm a new candidate. I bring fresh perspectives, new ideas, and I absolutely want to get a government that works for the people going, and I just want to make it happen. So give me a shot this time, and hey, I'll be so bold to say it. If you're not my biggest fan the next time, well, you know how to vote. But at least give me a chance to show you that what I'm made of, and I want to do some good work for you, the people of Guam.
There you go. Captain Ken?
That was great. I'm a believer. I like it. I really believe that the new people with the energy that he's bringing right now. This is the first time I'm sitting down talking with him here, okay? I know nothing about him except his mother-in-law, okay, that I know that's a sitting senator. But he's absolutely right. You give new people an opportunity to show what they can do. I mean, new changes are what we need. Everyone keeps... Talk to the people and you'll understand. Everyone's complaining about the same thing, that it's the same. You know what I mean? So the only way to change that, and my campaign slogan is time for real change, right? And really, it's time for real change, Pauly. I've had someone at one of the pocket meetings come up to me. She's going to be hearing this, but it's okay. And she said, Captain Kin, can you change it? I don't really want real change. I work in the government, and I'm actually, you know, I love my job, and I'm having a great time, and, you know, it's good, and blah, blah. And I'm like, well, good for you, right? And I applaud you, and I'm happy that you're happy. But there are so many changes that need to be made on our island for our people, right? So that's why I'm making that my slogan. She goes, why can't you use, instead of real change, real solutions? I like that, real solutions. That'll get me your vote. I mean, that'll get me her vote, right? She said, if you use real solutions. So I thought about it, right? And I was going to speak on it one day on the stage. And I was going to say, you know what? I was told by someone in this audience that my real change slogan, maybe people don't want the change. Maybe they just want to hear solutions. So maybe I should change it. But what I've come to understand is that a lot of people, not just on Guam, but in life, are afraid of change. They're afraid of change, right? Because they're so used to the same thing. I mean, routine is what keeps everyone going. You wake up, you do the same thing every morning, don't you, right? But the real change that I'm coming for is the problems, the way that the government has been addressing the problems the wrong way. That's what I feel like we need to change, right? So we were talking earlier about, Mateo mentioned paint will tell you whether or not that concrete is falling apart, right? Paint will show you before the concrete will. And maintenance is a huge problem in our government. The reason why so many things are falling apart is because they're not being maintained the right way. So many places on Guam, we build beautiful structures and so many nice artwork and just so many beautiful things. And then everyone makes the same comment on Guam. Give it a couple months and watch.
Give it a year?
Watch. Not even a year, dude. Like, give it like 6 months. And it just goes to SHIT, right? Because no one's maintaining it the right way that it should be done. I'm a hands-on kind of guy. I prefer to be outside working on stuff like manually, right? And if you're in that office and you're a director of an office, an agency, I'm not calling out GVB. I'm just saying, right? You're spending all this money. Everyone complains about the restrooms over at Epal Beach, which is directly behind the office of GVB. So why don't the general manager of there go and use the restroom at Epal instead of the one inside that building and see what tourists are experiencing when they come to Guam? Maybe then they'll realize what kind of change we do need in this island. Taking up too much of your time, but I'm Captain Kin. I'm number 4 on the Democratic side of the ballot. With me, what you see is what you really get. If I'm not for you, then so be it. I'm sorry, and I'm really sorry for you if you want the same that's been going on, because I don't. I'm a father of 5 kids, and I want something better for my children and for your children as well.
Well, I love the dynamic. I love the dynamic because people are saying, who else can we choose? Well, you put both of yourselves forward. And you're putting yourself out there, and I commend both of you and everybody
Pauly,
else.
on the way up on this trail, I lost family members and best friends, and I lost them because I was running. I didn't understand why I was losing them. I was confused. I was like, they should be supporting me so much, and then I found out that it's because they were like, why do you think you're good enough to run for senator? You know, and that really hit me because I was like, wait a minute, why do I think I'm good enough? I'm just stepping up. So I went to GEC and I got packets. And at a family Christmas party, last Christmas, I brought packets. And I was like, to my cousins that were kind of giving me shade, I was like, here's a packet for you, here's a packet for you. Let's do this. Why don't you guys step up and run? Because I'm doing this for us. You guys need to people understand what we go through out here. It ain't fun. It ain't fun being
yeah.
critiqued the way we are. It ain't fun, like, I mean, waking up to just wave at people that flick you off. If anyone saw that video that went viral on my Instagram, I mean, those kind of things aren't fun, but we do it to show our humility for the people of Guam.
Well, you get it,
you know?
then, so then you're doing it for the right reasons.
Yes, we're doing it for the right
Absolutely.
reasons, and that's why I truly believe that, you know, younger people like us, it's our turn.
Right.
It's our turn to get in and see what we can do. You know, it's the only way.
You can vote for either one of them, right? Because you can't vote for both of them.
Yep,
At
early
least
voting
not in
starts
the
on July
primary.
7th. Early voting starts on July 7th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, Mateo, number on the Republican side?
Number 6.
Number 6. Number
4.
There you go. Well, we got to take this break for sure. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm just, again, grateful for the opportunity for our audience to hear from these candidates. And again, they are putting themselves out for the people of Guam. And so when you look at how many people are running, you have some options. And so take the time to get to know them, whether it's here or any other platform. There are still many, right? Opportunities to do so.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're going to be at the mall on July 5th? Or I don't know if the storm,
If the
did you sign up for that?
But I did, yeah.
That's Saturday?
Sunday.
I don't
Sunday,
think,
okay.
this storm, let's just all pray together that this storm, you know, passes us
Right.
far, far away. And
Absolutely.
not anywhere near, especially the North, because they are still recovering. To our brothers and sisters in Saipan, God bless you. And to our Guam Power Authority employees that are still there fixing the infrastructure and the power there. Hey, God bless you guys. Seriously.
Okay, so we are going to charge Captain Ken.
Yeah, you got to charge me for overtime. Charge me for overtime. It's okay. Put it on my bill for the people of
We're
Guam.
going to take the break. Thank you so much.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. U.S. and Iranian negotiators have held separate meetings with mediators in Qatar.
So right now the talks are going well.
Vice President J.D. Vance says the Strait of Hormuz, topic A.
That's what they're focused on. And then, you know, we're going to, obviously, we're worried about the nuclear issue. We're going to start talking about that.
Iranian state television reports a ship ran aground in the strait while using a route not approved by Tehran. Donna Warder has follow-up to one of this week's Supreme Court rulings.
Lawyers for advice columnist E. Jean Carroll have filed papers in a Manhattan court asking a judge to require that President Trump pay the $5 million verdict decided by a jury in 2023. The jury concluded that Trump sexually abused Carroll in 1996 in the dressing room of a Manhattan luxury department store and then defamed her after she spoke about the attack in 2019. The Supreme Court on Monday refused to hear Trump's request for an appeal of the jury verdict. The $5 million the jury awarded has now grown to nearly $5.8 million with interest. I'm Donna Warder.
And Sagar Magani reports President Trump's debuted the new Air Force One.
A $400 million gift from Qatar, and the president says he's proud of it.
You can low-key it, or you can show it.
It doesn't look like the familiar Air Force One, with the light blue hull that helped it blend into the sky. This one's painted in the president's preferred navy blue with red and gold stripes. It has luxury features like plush carpets and lie-flat seats. The president's concerns.
This was a gift from a country that's treated us very well.
The Air Force says it spent less than $400 million on security upgrades. The jet will only temporarily be in U.S. service, with Boeing expected to deliver in 2 years long-delayed planes that will permanently be Air Force One. Sagar Magani, Washington.
This is AP News. There's big wedding news. Ed Donahue has it.
It's what Swifties have been waiting to hear.